went to an air show at McCord, and the Blue Angels flew. And probably Paul got the idea, let's make a movie. So I'm always agreeable. Someone had taken a spare gasoline tank, which they carried down below for fuel, not gas of course, but JP4, and they modified it for camera work. And I managed to borrow it for a week. I mounted a camera inside that, shooting at the runway, and that's how I got that runway takeoff. And I went into the clouds with a little turn, which is just perfect for going into the next shot of the seagulls. I had to go all the way up to Ernest Gann's ranch on San Juan Island. I got to talk to him first and got permission to do it. And I got it up there just as they were mowing the field, because that's when the mice are exposed, and that's when the eagles will be flying overhead, just to get that one shot.
On the runway now, the Blue Angel diamond in fingertip formation.
He wanted a shot from the planes coming straight into the camera. They wouldn't allow that in the United States. So we had to go pick everything up and go to Canada. You see the planes at the far end of the runway, and you see the smoke starts to billow, the planes start to move, and then you see the chunks of the runway flying in the air. And then the planes came to us and go right over my head. I get that shot, and then the individual planes take off, the two, and I'd forgotten the two planes side by side stay low to the right end of the runway, then they go up. So that's where the camera got blown over. My son was blown away, and the camera with the lens that long that I'd rented, stuck in the camera. First concern is the camera okay? Then, is my son okay? Think about the requirement for the sound effects for a film of that nature. Sound effects for everything. Like in the plane, there's a view where the planes did a steep dive from the camera's inside the plane, levels out, and there are two little beeps, beep, beep, different tone.
We'll cross within one wingspan of one another, one plane width, which is 20 to 30 feet apart. But occasionally, if the visibility is exceptionally good, and we have one another in sight quite a long ways out.
What that was the horn on my motorcycle. I recorded that, and the battery was going down, so it gave me two different tones. Well, that was great. I loved that. It sounds like it's delivered, like there's a warning inside the cockpit. There isn't any.
All the air-to-air was Dad's stuff, and except for those stuff that's like built into the dash, but everything cockpit was Dad. And it's funny because he was saying that sometimes the guys would pull G's on him, and he would black out, and during editing he'd see footage he didn't even remember taking because he was blacked out at the time. Dad got a talking to twice from Harley. Harley never was the kind of guy who would yell. He just was one of those kind of guys who didn't need to yell. The first time, Dad drove Skip to practice on the back of his motorcycle, and that is a big time no-no, because if they were to get into a crash, your team member's down. And the next time was they were doing inverted. I think Dad was in Ernie's plane doing a cockpit to cockpit with Harley, and Dad thought it would be interesting to get this particular shot, so he unbuckled, stood on the canopy and was getting the shot down at Harley, and Harley's flying. Harley looks up and then does a double take and then kind of just shakes his head no, and Dad was like, oh God. One time Skip took him on a really awesome trip over the Grand Canyon on his birthday. Skip goes, okay, I got a present for you. You got to close your eyes. And he felt a little bit of movement going on. And he goes, all right, open your eyes. And he said that the ground was just like above his face. And all of a sudden it opens up into the Grand Canyon.